There are many ways you can make money in the Nigerian stock market, and one of those ways is what I want to talk about in this video. But before I go into it, I want you to watch this video. Watch it.
Now, the person says, I have shares and all of that. The problem I find with a lot of Nigerians, especially old people, they buy it as if it's a piece of jewelry. Stock market is not to buy paper. Some people have bought shares for 20 years. They've not done anything with it. Frankly, it's a tradable asset. The way you make money from it is, okay, I'll give an example. So last year, when all the banks started fundraising, somebody bought some shares of one bank. And as those shares got to a point, it was clear that dividend was going to come. But the person who understands the stock market knew that this particular bank doesn't have much room to grow anymore in terms of the value of their shares because it was already overpriced. So the person took profit, sold a percentage of it, took profit, took part of that money, went to buy the shares of another bank. Why? Because that bank had more room to grow, but it was also within the window. There's like a 90 days window within which if you already own the shares, you will partake in their dividend for that year. Most people don't understand. It's not about holding the share for a whole year or for 10 years. There's a date, there's a cutoff date. If you have shares by that date, you will take dividend no matter what. So the person said, okay, sell this portion, go and buy, take profit, go and buy this number of shares from that other bank. And now that it's dividend season, you get dividend from two banks rather than from one, and you also get capital gain because the share has increased in value, which allows you to be able to sell and take profit.
So now for you to understand what she said in that video, that some people they usually look at when a company wants to pay dividend and they position themselves before that time, they take advantage of it, and eventually, so you need to know what is dividend payout ratio, you need to understand what dividend yield is, you need to understand dividend cover, you need to understand dividend history, so that you will know the companies that are solid in dividend payments. It's a strategy. We have the growth strategy, and dividend investing is one of the simplest way. If you don't want to bother your head, if you don't want to go into too many calculations, let's go into what she said in the video, which is you need to understand two major dates. Number one is what we call the qualification date. I've explained in my previous videos. And the second one is the payment date. You need to understand what payment date is. So when I say FD simply means the final dividend. The qualification date simply means you must have owned that stock before the qualification date, or not before the qualification date. That is what will make you to qualify for that dividend. So you only need to know when is this company paying dividend, when is their qualification date. And I'm going to be mentioning 7 companies that are paying dividend in this month of June. 7 stocks that are paying dividend in this month of June. Even though some of them, their qualification date has already passed, but we still have some that the qualification dates, you can still take advantage of the qualification date and take advantage of the window so that you can maximize return. But you also need to understand there's something called markdown, which means after the payment of dividend, the share price drops. And that is an explanation for another day. I don't want to make this video too long. So you need to let it retrace back before you now sell. Not immediately after paying dividend, you go out of the market. It will not be beneficial to you. You need to wait a little while the price goes back up before you exit the market. So qualification dates, the stock must be in your portfolio on or before that day in order to qualify for the dividend. And the payment date simply means the day the dividend is paid. Final dividend, we have 2 types of dividend. We have the interim dividend and we have the final dividend. Interim dividend is for those companies who usually pay more than once in a year. So they usually have interim dividend. We have companies that pay 4 times in a year. We have companies that pay 2 times a year, and we have some companies that pays only once in a year. I hope you understand. So number 1 on the list is Better Glass. Better Glass, the final dividend is 2.95 kobo. The qualification date is 17th of June. So you understand what I mean by qualification dates now. So the payment date is 26th of June 2025. Dangote Cement is paying 30 naira per share, and the qualification date is 9th of June 2025, and the payment date is 23rd of June 2025. IMG PLC, the final dividend is 80 kobo per share. The qualification date is 5th of June while the payment date is 25th of June 2025. Julius Berger is paying 3 naira 25 kobo per share. The qualification date is 30th of May. Payment date is 20th of June 2025. May and Baker, the final dividend is 40 kobo per share. The qualification date is 28th of May 2025. That also is gone. Then payment date is 5th of June. Multiverse, final dividend is 10 kobo per share. Qualification date is 23rd of May. Payment date is 18th June 2025. Then the last but not the least is UACN. The final dividend is 22 kobo per share. The qualification date is 21st of May. The payment date is 5th of June. I hope you understand. So that is all that I have for us in this video. If you want access to quick information like this, I recommend you join our WhatsApp channel. The link will be in the description below. If you are yet to subscribe to this channel, kindly do by clicking on the subscribe button and click on the notification bell so you can be notified whenever we release a new video. Till we meet in our next video, stay blessed.